everyone, this is That One Gamer, and today I'm going to do something different. I'm going to do my first ever review, and the subject is Battlefield 1, the beta. Now, my first impression when playing the beta, I thought it was really great. The interface seemed user-friendly, and I personally didn't have a problem with it at first. And the beta itself was like only, what was it, 6 gigs? So it really didn't take that long for me personally to download. Not sure how it was for the rest of you, but my internet's hella good. Anyways, so for the beta for this review, I decided to do Conquest, which is their largest game option, I guess. For the beta, which is pretty much 64 players, 32v32, basically a monster of a multiplayer matchup. Classic to Battlefield nonetheless, but just still epic nonetheless. So, first impression that I got playing this, apparently you can assign yourself to certain squads, or you can create a squad. I just decided, screw it, I'm just going to join this squad and, be done with it, because, why not? So, first impression, I played as the Assault class, and, just from getting into the game, I could just feel the immersive atmosphere of the Sinai Desert, and, just in amazement as to the detail. Even in a beta alone, this is actually pretty good. And here I am just trying to roam around the desert. The environment is really big. Like, if you were to try to wander around from one end to the other end, it's going to take a while. Which is why, obviously, the game would spawn vehicles. Yes, even the horse counts as a vehicle. I don't know why. Unless it's like a cyborg horse or something. Anyways, so here I am trying to pursue taking this objective, and the whole purpose of Conquest is, in Nickit, if you're not familiar with Battlefield, is we take objectives that belong to our enemies, and we claim them as our own, to raise the tick marks on the screen. So where I am at in blue, we are obviously in the lead because we have more objectives held than the enemy does. And here I am, I'm just trying to pepper spray somebody. I honestly didn't know who I was taking pot shots at and who I was sending pot shots to, but it's okay. It's war. You don't care where the bullets fly as long as they hit something, right? So, here I am still trying to claim the objective, which is primarily the objective of this whole game mode. And while I'm waiting, let me just say that I've been excited for Battlefield 1 since it was mentioned a while back, a few months back, and I really hoped before the beta came out that it would live up to the expectations I had personally, and holy guacamokes did it do that. Honestly, and there we go, I claimed the objective. Single-handedly, I am solely pro. Here I am. I totally wrecked that guy in the face with my bullets, and they said hi because they wanted to hug him up close, but anyways. Battlefield 1 was definitely a fresh new take in the FPS genre. They basically went back to the roots of the game of the FPS, which is basically boots on ground, full out warfare, no techno bobble, no exosuits, no fucking Vulcans and shit like a certain other genre would bring. And to be honest, I got so fed up with that sometimes because it feels like that shit got handed to you. At least in here, at least in Battlefield, when you have to find the enemy, you have to find them. There's no UAVs, there's none of that. It's straight up, you find them, you take the shot, and you hope to piss you hit them. Because if you don't, they're going to hit you. And that's what I love so much about this game. Is it takes away all the aesthetics, all the technological marvels that modern shooters would have, and they applied that to this. And I really think that honestly, this is just candy to me. I have been hoping they would have made a game like this, and for a long time. Hell, I would have hoped that Activision, Infinity Ward, uh, I would have hoped they would have hopped onto this sooner than DICE did, but I guess I was wrong. They went to a more modern approach, henceforth Infinity Warfare, which I'm not gonna get into too tough. I may just do a video where they'll, I'll talk about Infinity Warfare and compare to Battlefield, pros and cons, blah blah blah. But this is all about Battlefield 1 right now. This is all I'm gonna talk about. So yeah, there we go. I got pooped on because again, if I had UAV, I would have known at least somebody would have been coming up behind me. But again, the game's major aesthetic is you're playing in World War One. Henceforth, and because I'm a history nut, they declared it as the Great War. Here, I think the only two factions you can play as is the British Empire and the Ottoman Empire. And for you guys who don't know too much about how World War I started, basically it was all because some Serbs shot Archduke Ferdinand and the Europeans got pissed somehow, and then they went into war with the Germans, and Germans started shooting people up in Europe, and somehow the US got involved, and everyone and their mother got involved, all because someone pissed in the Prime Minister's cereal or something. I don't know, I just made that last one up. But basically, war started because some dude assassinated another dude, and that kind of created so much outlash. This is what I loved most. Flying the fucking plane. I could have called myself the Red fucking Baron if I was playing for the German Empire. But I wasn't. I was just the aerial ace. And to be honest, the controls flying these planes are actually pretty easy enough. They feel inverted because they are if you don't change it for some reason. I don't even think you can in the beta, but I'm pretty sure in the real game you can. But anyways, you can also snap between third to first person while you're operating the vehicle. Now notice how I said while you're operating the vehicle. So say if I was the gunner, the tail gunner of the plane, and I wanted to snap the third person, I can't do that. I don't know why. It's one nitpick that I hope the game will eventually fix, because being forced to play one type of say if you're forced just to play FPS and you want to play third person to kind of get a wider view and you can't, that's kind of a turnoff for some and more of an annoyance for others. Me personally, I just found it annoying, but I could care less. I was fine with it. So we ended the round and we lost, blah blah, whatever. And yeah, so far, I mean, this game, the beta alone was enough to keep me entertained for like an hour, 2 hours, because even though you're playing the same map, the same mode, it's never always the same thing. Another thing that Battlefield 1 sold me on as far as the beta so far is just, how do I even phrase this? It's more of when you're in the battle and you're in the heat of the battle, shit just feels like, it just feels like you're in the battle. Explosions all around you, gunfire ringing around you, buildings getting blown up. I mean, it feels like you're actually in war. And I really love that. Whereas in Call of Duty and yes, and I'm gonna mention Call of Duty a bit. When I played Call of Duty, and disclaimer, this is my own personal opinion. Don't get upset. I'm sorry if you do, but this is just how I felt. Call of Duty never offered the immersive feel of war. It feels like I'm playing with a team and we're like playing, it's like playing paintball but with actual bullets, if you get what I'm saying. Whereas in Battlefield, in the actual beta alone, See, look at that right there. Plane just gets shot down, or the pilot just couldn't control it. Anyways, whereas in Battlefield, the environment feels like it's a war-torn environment. The vehicles, the field, explosions, the everything just feels like I'm in fucking war, and I have to keep looking over my shoulder because it's war.
We have taken
And to me, that's also a major selling point is, if I'm playing a war game, I want to feel like I'm playing a fucking war game and not just, you know, 6v6, let's take an objective. It doesn't feel like war to me. It just feels like a game. And even though I do realize that Battlefield 1 is a game, it immerses yourself more into a war-type mindset. You gotta be tactical. You gotta figure out what classes work for you. And let me get into the classes now. The classes are as follows. You got the Assault, you got Medic, you got Support, you got Sniper, or Scout, as they would call it. And if I'm missing anything, I'm sorry, but I do think it's Assault, Medic, Support, and Scout. And I may be able to verify that once I pick a character later on. So anyways, Assault is one of my most preferable classes, that after Medic. And I'll get into why in a second. But Assault is basically, if you want to go in, guns blazing, you know, just basically say YOLO, I'm going to go in, take their objectives, or if I'm going to die trying, I'm going to take as many enemies as I can with me. That's basically Assault. In Assault, you get armed with a submachine gun, from what I understand, grenades, pistol, and a club for your melee, which you can also change up and customize however you wish. Now, the gun I'm using, I couldn't find or select my character. I only got that, I think, after flying in the plane or whatever. Now, I may be wrong, but that's just what I've always seen. But I couldn't find that anywhere in the options. Anyways, so going from there, Assault can get countered easy by Scout, because as Assault would charge in, Scout can easily pick them off, and boom, that's it. Whereas if Scout tries to contend with Assault, and Assault's already in their range, Assault can easily just bring them down, so long as they can shoot properly with the gun. I've seen people who just sprays down the Assault rifle, whereas with the Scout, all it just takes is one good shot and you're done. That's it. That's all it takes, really. So, I would think that Assault is useful if you're going to storm in from house to house, hoping to clear out some enemies along the way and basically ruin their picnic. I also think Assault would be preferable if you're just going in there clearing checkpoints and claiming them for your team. Because if you have the magazine size and the range to do it, you can easily just curb over anyone with Assault, easy. Now moving on to Medic, which is honestly my favorite to use, and here's why. Medic is more versatile, and you're gonna see why in the gameplay later on. But Medic honestly gave me a lot more time per life than any other class that I've tried. And the real reason why is because Medic can throw health packs onto the field that either yourself or your teammates can use. And believe me when I said I've had some close calls. Ooh, I got promoted, by the way. Promotion system's actually pretty good too, and the war bonds, which I'll get into in a sec. But going back with the Medic, they're versatile. The weapons that they use is a semi-automatic rifle. If you've ever shot the Guir back in any of the Call of Duty games, preferably like World at War or Call of Duty 2 or 3, if you remember the Guir, the weapons that are used in the game that the Medic uses is similar to that, similar firing style. You get about 10-15 rounds per clip, and you just squeeze and pull, repetition every time until you run out and have to reload. It's versatile. I like that. Plus, it also gives you a little bit of extra damage than like if you were assault. Whereas with assault, you have like 30 rounds, but each round can only do but so much. Whereas with medic, you have about 10, 15 rounds, sure, but you can still hurt somebody maybe in 4 or 5 rounds, 4 or 5 well-placed rounds. So going back to that, also with medic. If you can use medic properly, you can use medic for just about anything. Their rifle alone can cover mid to maybe long, but I wouldn't bet my bottom dollar on it. Because if you try to use that weapon as a sniper, I don't think it'll work out too well. I don't think so. I would think maybe mid to short range is more preferable to use medic. That, and if you do get hurt and you have a med kit available, just toss it, walk over it for a second or two, and keep on going. It'll actually still regenerate your health faster, even after walking away from the med kit. Don't worry about it. You don't have to stay there the whole time if you're not aware of it. Oh. That has saved me so many times in matches. So many times. This is why I personally love going into a battle as a medic. So moving on, we do have the support, which you'll also see later on. Support's basically your heavy gunner, your squad suppressor, the real squad suppressor. Those are the guys that, if you give them a direction to shoot at, just to hold an enemy where they're at, or basically if you're one-manning in and you have the bullets, that is what support does for you. Support not only does that, but also gives you, or themselves, ammo pouches. So realistically, it's almost like you have unlimited ammo, which I think is actually pretty nice. You can either give yourself unlimited ammo, quote unquote, or you can just be a real team player and give your squad the ammo that they need, so that way they can keep going and do what they gotta do. The only downside to support is the longer the clip that they have, the more time it takes for them to reload, and that can eat time away unless you're in cover. If you're out in the open and you have to reload, I would recommend just swapping a pistol and just going Hail Mary on them until you either die, or hopefully if you can find some cover, switch your weapon and reload that, and then really push on.
We have taken objective George.
That's what I usually do, given the opportunity. That guy got pooped on. See, right there, I just used the medic class. And really good class. Good God, yeah. So we're going to see more of the medic class as I continue talking about support. So, I mean, with support, I really loved using support, but another con that I had using it is that it can be really cumbersome to carry. If you're running and you have to snap and shoot, you may have a delay using support because their gun is so heavy. It's devastating, don't get me wrong, but it's heavy. I just sprayed and prayed there. I don't even know why I did that, just because. But going back to it, that's probably the only two cons that I have with support. So if you're the type of player that can suppress and hold a position long enough to take it, or if you feel like you're gonna be freaking Rambo, go into an objective and spray down as many as you can with one clip, I think support's good for you. And now we move on to the last class, which is Scout. And I've played a bit of Scout, and normally I don't play as a sniper class in any game, mainly because of quick scopers. And good God, do I hate that. But in Battlefield, I don't see quick scoping. I see people who actually find a good position away from everyone else and be patient and take their shot like in, oh my God, an actual sniper would. I get sniped by those people and I do get a little pissed, but at the same time I'm like, thank you. That's what snipers should do. Snipers shouldn't have to walk up to you face to face with their gun and then quick scope you. That's not how it's done in freaking war. When you're a sniper, you have to pick a spot that not many people will venture to, or not many people will expect to find you. You also have to pick a position where you'll know you'll find at least some targets to shoot at. Once you do that, then it's all about waiting, taking your time, shooting, and then you move on. You don't want to stay at the same position too long, because if you stay there, they will find you, and they will try and mow you down unless you try and get away fast enough. Otherwise,
We have
you're
taken
screwed.
objective Edward.
But here's another thing. Well, here are my pros and cons about the sniper class. Pros. Per shot, the sniper class has the most destructive weaponry. Per shot. Overall, it's not that destructive. Per shot, as long as you can land a headshot, that's an instant one-hit kill. Even through a torso shot, that takes about 70, 80, depending on where you hit them at. You know, oh, there goes, I have to reload again, so, yeah. And there I go, that's okay. So, per shot, the sniper class is obviously the most deadly. But overall, not that serious, and here's why. When you play sniper in the beta, what you don't realize is when you hold the scope down, or maybe I'm doing this wrong, you can criticize me about this if you want, but this is what I've noticed. When you shoot while aiming down the scope, you have to actually let go of the aim button so you can reload. And all of the sniper weapons that I had are bolt action. So it's pretty much like once I fire one round, I have to let go of the aim button and let the player do the reloading sequence, which is releasing the bolt, pulling it back, pushing it forward, and pulling it down, which really eats up time if you want to get that kill. Yeah, see there what I did there? I instantly just healed myself. That kicks ass. Anyways, and that eats up so much time if you have to kill and get that good kill. You either can get the kill off and know that you'll nail it. Oh, that was just lovely. Look at that. One bullet left and I instantly nailed him, and this is where I messed up. I went in wide and I clubbing him. I guess he doesn't like going clubbing. Anyways, so, and that's what kills me. Sometimes I forget that when I fire my sniper rifle, I don't realize, hey, let go of the aim button so you can reload. You're gonna get pooped on, and by that time it's too late. Alright, so anyways, the way I also noticed is sniper rifles, they're okay. I wouldn't use them a whole lot unless you're really good at them. Use them when you have to. Going back also earlier, customizing, there are some customizing in the beta. But in this case in the beta, there's only customizing for the loadouts. You can only customize your loadout, meaning you can change guns, change grenades, change everything through war bonds, which you get leveling up, which is what you saw earlier. Another thing I'd also like to add is vehicles. Going back to what I was talking about with vehicles earlier, I personally liked using some vehicles, and some vehicles I just didn't. Like, I'm more preferable driving like a tank or something than I would a plane. But if I had the chance to get on a plane, I would, just for the sake of getting onto a plane. I even shot down a bomber in an attack plane, and I'm not sure if this is in this video or after I was done playing, but the controls I had when operating the plane wasn't that bad. It wasn't that hard, and it's easy to get the hang of. But if you're not used to inverted controls, try and see if there may be a way in the beta you can adjust that. Otherwise, I would stay away from them until the game comes out, so that way you have the option to switch to disable the inverted controls on aircraft. Let's see. I only got about so much time left in this video. What else can we talk about? So here we go. So this is what I was talking about. You can customize assault, for example. Change your weapon to whatever weapon. I can change medic to something else. I changed it to this weapon because, hey, I have the war bonds. It's a little bit, the damage suffers a bit, but it's an automatic, so I can buy it. And I do have the war bonds, which is on the top left corner. So I bought the war bonds, and I bought the gun. I changed it to that, because actually, I guess I didn't. I guess I was just cycling through to see what's there. Some of them you can get right away, others you can buy right away, and others will probably say you can't get it until the full game. And from what I noticed, that's really prevalent with the pistols or the sidearm. So here's what I love about this game, and let me put it this way. You heard what I love about this game, and now you're going to hear what I don't like about the beta so far. And I'm sorry for that little bit of screen clipping right there. As I was playing this, it's raining outside really, really bad, and you know, tropical storm Hermine and stuff. Anyways, I'm fine, by the way. So anyways, what I didn't like about the beta so far, and yes, I understand it's a beta, but there's still things that piss me off, even if it's a beta. The one thing that can gripe me the most, actually there's two things. Playing a match. When you're early in the game, when you're early in the beta, if you try to do matchmaking, for some reason, and I don't know if this is just my bad experience or if anyone else had any issues with this, but every time I try to find a match through matchmaking, it'll say matchmaking failed or anything like that. And it usually doesn't even take that long. It's like a minute or two and then bam, it says matchmaking failed. And when I do find a match early on, I have to join up with friends to do that, which I don't want to have to do. I wanted to do it on my own. And the queue times can be a long time. Sometimes it's easy just to quit the game, go back in, and hope that you can find a match. But overall, that's only like my real two complaints. The beta is great. I love it. I'm going to play more of it as soon as I'm done with this. I may stream the beta later on. We'll see how it goes. But if I love this much just from the beta, I'm just going to nerdgasm when the actual game comes out. And I pre-ordered the early edition. So I'm going to definitely have some fun with this. So anyways, guys, this has been That One Gamer's review for Battlefield 1, the beta version. And if your expectations about this game are as high as I am, then you should be hyped too. So until then, guys, stay tuned for my next review. It'll come out in the near future. Blah, blah, blah. Have a good one, guys. And I'll talk to you soon. Stay lovely, you lovely.